The photographer is the only artist who passes his life in the streets with all its troubles, disorders, varieties, and even bad scenes. The eyes of the photographer see these things differently. The photographer is different from other artists who prefer to live in isolation and to live in worlds that are different from those of the world of a photograph that is affected by light, wherever it is. This artist deserves care and interest, and he must be honored and not forgotten. Newspapers must write about his works like any other works of art. This art must not be considered as a secondary one. So, it's possible to see a photograph that is taken from a certain corner that makes it different from nature. This is seen in the works of artist Thamer Al-Hassan. Whenever his lenses take wonderful photographs of our nature that reflect certain facts, his lens and his photos reflect beauty and magnificence that are difficult to be noticed in architecture. We can find that many of artist Thamer Al-Hassan's works concentrate on photos of the architecture. He moves his lens from here to there and from this city to that one to show us that he admires our architecture heritage and the Arab and Western architecture as well. Works of Thamer Al-Hassan are distinguished for mixing white and black with other colors using his camera, not his brush. It's not the brush only that can make creative art. Each artist has a distinguished characteristic, and this is the distinguished characteristic of Thamer Al-Hassan.
I've always loved collecting pictures since I used the internet, and I was amazed by the quality that I find there. And that get me more motivated to learn more about photography and how to get the similar quality. And that's how it turns out that I bought a camera in 2009. That's when I started photography. I started as a self-taught photographer, but after that I took some courses and some workshops to be more solid in the basics. What made me to be more advanced or to be more focused in photography is by seeing some local works that really matches some global works, and some local photographers won lots of awards. That motivated me to be something like them and to learn how they do see things and to learn their vision. What made me learn fast is that I have a member in my house who's interested in photography as well. That's how we learn in two different ways. Photography has become a main factor in our life, and our minds have relying too much on seeing photos whenever we are in the restaurants or in a mall or even when travel. And that's how the photography plays most important part in our life. As for me, I like to express things when I photograph. As an example, when I shoot a building, I like to express the atmosphere, the dramatic feeling, the experience that I feel when I see the building. When I shoot a person or when I take a photo of a person, I like to express what kind of character he is and what kind of message that he wants to represent. Well, there is a different part. It's different than the art or the paintings. The paintings is always have a hidden message inside the paintings, but in photography it's just expressing the beauty or the vision or the experience that the photographer felt when he saw the view. It's a common mistake that photographers rely too much on the equipment. As for me, even though that I have a high advanced camera, I like to take photos with an iPhone. I'm one of the photographers that like to take artistic photo with any kind of camera. And also I made an album to show people that I can take very artistic photos even with the iPhone, even though the quality is different or very low. But that I can show that I can see pattern, I see lights, I practicing my vision. Of course, if I use the high advanced camera, it will give me a better quality for sure, even with printing. But for me, to prove that I can take photos with any kind of camera, I can take photos with an iPhone or any kind of mobile phone. But also, when we talk about equipment, you have to know about lights. Even though if we talk about equipment, at first you have to have a vision, how to see things differently, how to make the subject looks appealing or artistic. So you don't have to rely too much on the camera itself, you have to rely too much on your vision. And there's two types of photographers that we can always see. There's a vision and there's a high-tech or the geek. For me, I like to be balanced between them both. When I started photography, I took a photo of different subjects, but I specialize in architecture photography. It looks more appealing to anyone, and everybody can feel it. I like to capture the dramatic feeling and special atmosphere that I see when I see a buildings. I like to take photos in a wide angle, much more than close-up shots. And I have some experience in portrait shots too. I like to take expressive shots that gives a message or express a feeling that the subject had have. When I started photography, I did some self-assignments, I did some different projects to take several type of shots, different type of categories. But then I realized that when you're specialized in one category, you will be more advanced, and you will know. I can't say that architecture photography is the hardest type of photography. For me, the hardest is wildlife photography, when you shoot animals in the wild. Architecture photography relies too much on the vision and your knowledge on the camera itself. It's like you have always tried to shoot in different perspectives, not the type of shot that usually people see. Whenever I see pattern in the roofs or in the sky, I always try to shoot. Either way, I have a professional camera or just I have a mobile camera. Good also about architecture photography, there's a point of interest in each building or each angle that you choose. For example, you can take a photo of something, or one of my photos, you can see it from the bottom to the top or from the left to the right. This can happen on the landscape or in the architecture photography. It's different than portraits. I did some photography while I travel, and some of my trips were for photography and leisure at the same time. When I traveled to Europe, I did some photo walk with some people there, and they were amazed by the knowledge that I have. As for someone from Saudi Arabia, from a different continent or from a faraway place, that know how to use photography and to control the camera. And they were surprised about the quality of the work. They kept asking about if I have more photos about Saudi Arabia or people of Saudi Arabia. Of course, I have some photos that's precious to me. As for example, this photo that participate here in the Ain Ra'at. This is a glass house. I tried to photograph it in a different perspective. When I was there, I just took half of the arc of the glass house and made it a different perspective. It's like looking from down to up. Well, photographers, they don't express their feelings in the photograph unless it's portraits, but generally they don't express the feeling that they feel. They just express the vision or the dramatic feeling they feel about the view. It's not what I feel from the inside. It's what I see. It's how do I see it. I'm a big fan of black and white photos. Always have a dramatic feeling and can tell a story better than the colors.